I remember the moment I walked into the living room and saw her sitting there, necklace glinting under the chandelier. "You took it," she said. Her voice wasn't angry, it was sharp, deliberate, like she had rehearsed this accusation. My stomach dropped. I opened my mouth, but no words came out. My parents' eyes flicked between us, suspicion already etched into their faces. By the time I tried to explain, the verdict was already written. I was a liar, a thief, unworthy of trust. They kicked me out. I stood on the doorstep, bags in hand, watching the only home I had known turn into a stage for my humiliation. And the cruelest twist? They had no idea I had been keeping this house afloat. My hands that they scolded for supposedly stealing were the same hands that paid her tuition, covered the bills, kept their lives uninterrupted while I went unnoticed. I didn't cry. I couldn't. I planned. I remembered when we were kids, she and I laughing over late-night homework, sharing secrets, pretending we were partners against the world. I trusted her with everything. My trust had been currency. She spent it recklessly on lies. I realized that day that love without reciprocity is dangerous, especially when wrapped in entitlement. The first signs were subtle, whispered calls, unexplained purchases, small lies about school and friends. But they were just shadows, easy to dismiss. Then I found the message, her bragging to her friends about how easy it was to turn our parents against me. It wasn't just a betrayal, it was a calculation. And that's when I stopped feeling anything but clarity. I didn't confront her immediately. Anger is messy, it's loud and sloppy. I needed control. I needed strategy. I withdrew my support silently. Tuition unpaid, bills untouched. I left my share of the household accounts dormant, my contributions invisible, and I watched. I let the consequences bloom naturally, like a flower poisoned slowly, beautiful in its inevitability. She noticed first. The first overdue notice for her tuition arrived the next month. I stayed in the city, in a cheap apartment that smelled like paper and rain, tracking every ripple of panic she created. Then came the electricity cutoffs, the gas bill, the notice for the home repair she couldn't afford. Every tiny humiliation I had endured multiplied across her life, subtle but undeniable. She tried to call me, tried to plead, tried to cry, but I was already a ghost. She had no idea I had the keys to her ruin, and she wouldn't until it was too late. I did not take joy in watching her scramble, not overtly. There's a difference between revenge and sadism. My satisfaction came from watching the truth surface in slow motion. The facade she had built around entitlement, manipulation, lies, it began to crumble. My parents started asking questions, quietly, cautiously. How had the bills slipped? How had tuition not been paid? My name wasn't mentioned at first. And then, when the conversation shifted to her incompetence, her deceit, and her lies, the realization hit her. The confrontation came months later, in the exact room she had accused me. She looked different, tired, panicked, stripped of the arrogance she had worn like armor. "Why?" she asked, her voice cracking. I didn't answer immediately. I let her watch, let her connect the dots herself. Every overdue bill, every letter, every pang of panic she had felt, it all pointed to the same truth. She had underestimated me. I had controlled everything, silently, meticulously. Her betrayal had been her downfall. I spoke finally, softly. "You were wrong about me, about everything." There was no shouting, no spectacle, just calm, deliberate truth landing like ice on her conscience. She understood. Too late. Walking out of that house for the last time, I felt lighter than I had in years. I didn't need vindication to feel whole. I had created it, orchestrated it with precision, and let justice unfold naturally. She would remember the lesson forever, not because I screamed it at her, but because she lived it, suffered it, and understood it too late. I had been accused, humiliated, cast out. I had lost a home, but I gained clarity, power, and peace. And in that silence, I realized revenge is not about breaking someone. It's about teaching them exactly what they took for granted. And that lesson, carefully delivered, is indelible.